Hey guys, we're Lincoln 95 recording live from the local county prison cell. And this time I'm actually at the local county prison cell because when I went to record the video yesterday, I apparently deleted it. And I thought, well, I probably just forgot to upload it. And no, I just deleted the whole thing. So here I am re recording, as I hate to do. But anyway, we move on. The matchup is King Shark from DC and Groot from Marvel. And yes, I've been one to point out that DC versus Marvel. I'm not a huge, I tend to disagree with sometimes. Similarly to like how last week fighting game versus fighting game, anime versus anime. My stance on this is not that DC and Marvel characters shouldn't fight. It's you should look for the best matchup, and the best matchup is not always just a the best matchup for a DC character is not always just a Marvel character. Your response to which character should this fight should not just be, uh, you know, well, which Marvel character should they fight, or if you have an anime character, oh, well, what other anime characters should they fight? So that's the way I look at that. But this fight, I was kind of iffy on also because I mean, both these characters, it's not that they're simple per se, it's just that, like, there's not, I mean, there's information to be extrapolated from them, obviously, but, like, there's not a lot of information super readily available on them. They are just kind of, because they're kind of cliche, to be honest with you, like, but, I'll do my best here. So, King Shark, um, so King Shark has many different backstories. Like he's been considered a genetic mutation. He's been considered from a race of animal people, but his most consistent and his currently confirmed backstory is that he is essentially a demigod. He is the son of a shark god or king of all sharks and a human woman, and that's what gives him his freakish strength abilities and his how he looks. Um, and yeah, I mean that he's part shark, part person, similarly to how Man Bat is part shark, part man, part bat. How did I mess that up? That was literally in the name. Killer Croc is part man, part crocodile. Like that sort of thing. And yeah, and among these I mean, he's fought Superboy. Uh, he's fought people like Wonder Woman, Aquaman. Um, he's fought Killer Croc. Funny enough, he's tanked bullets. Uh, he's survived, injuries and tremendous injury and whatnot. Um, I think I believe he's thrown cars and stuff. He can very easily bite through human bodies without like any effort. I mean, um, he's usually depicted as being a great white shark, and they can usually cleave through somebody's body and swim at superhuman speeds. Um, that being said, he does have some extra abilities underwater. He gains more of a healing factor to the point where I think it's like he can heal major injuries within minutes, and he can actually recover a limb within like a week, as long as he's underwater. He's able to fight characters like Aquaman and Wonder Woman on equal standing while underwater, because he is a demigod. But he's not weakened on land per se, but he's just not quite as strong. He loses some inherent abilities, and eventually he will like not be. He will eventually start to like lose power if he stays on land like for weeks and weeks at a time. Right. Um, Another ability he has that if he smells blood, he can go in. He's prone to going into like an uncontrollable frenzy. To which point he becomes like almost unstoppable. Um, yeah, but otherwise he's just a big shark guy, and he's really strong. Groot. I know this is very simple, and it's very indicative of my old videos where I just used to give off the top of the head information, but you kind of can with these characters. So Groot is from a race of aliens, tree people. There's some big cosmic backstory that he was created by, you know, a like a celestial being and all that. But essentially, his planet is made of tree people, and he has some inherent abilities to that. He's able to stretch his limbs out, his branches and whatnot, and grow them pretty much at whatever rate he wants. Um, he is superhuman strong. He's very durable, but he also can regenerate himself pretty much from as long as any piece is as long as any piece survives. Like if a piece of him splinters off and lands in soil, it'll basically create a new Groot, assuming the rest of him is dead. Like he can regrow from basically just like any piece of himself. But it has to be like grown. It has to be like in soil, water. You know what I mean? It has to grow like a plant. Um, but I mean, he's done some crazy things that I'll get into in a second. But um, yeah, I mean that's basically the extent of it. Is that he's a tree person and he can grow himself and he's super strong and etc. etc. Um, he had some like circumstantial things like uh he once like became the core of a planet and like controlled its biome and everything. He once branched together a bunch of planets and regrow them from himself. He once like or like splintered a bunch of pieces of himself off into planets and regrew them from being destroyed. Crazy shit like that. But that's all like cosmic level shit that he doesn't normally have access to. Um but yeah, and this is gonna be a pretty quick episode, I hope at least. Going into this fight of King Shark and Groot. Now both of these characters unfortunately are out of assuming we had neutral territory. Both of these characters are pretty much out of their preferred domain. Because King Shark has to be in water to gain his full power, and Groot uh can only fully regenerate if he's like planted in soil, pretty much. Um, but that being said, I would think King Shark is probably the stronger of the two, right? However, I think Groot probably has a more annoying healing factor. Because I feel like King Shark would probably just be like biting off branches, and Groot would be just regrowing them. So with both of these characters having a relatively simple, I mean, King Shark has some other aquatic abilities like being able to control sharks and shit, but like I said, that's literally not something you can factor in unless this fight is ensured to happen underwater, which you can't really account. You can't really factor that into the fight. Um, that being said, we can't factor in Groot being able to grow in like soil and shit either. So how do we how do we do this? Would King Shark eventually wear down Groot and kill him in a way that he can't recover from, or would Groot just outlast King Shark and eventually land a finishing blow? Um, for no, it's not exactly arbitrary. For no, there's not a lot of variables to this fight, is what I'm trying to say. All right. Normally, when there's a fight, there's like some sort of synergies or anti-synergy. There's some sort of there's some sort of interaction between the character's abilities or some sort of experience level, something that's definitive that says, like, this is how this would go. But with this fight, it's really just two big, strong guys. I mean, that's not to say these characters don't have, like, some impressive abilities. It's just, in the scope of superhuman characters, these are pretty simple. So really, I think either of these two could probably kill the other, which makes it very difficult for me to really determine a winner here. But I think I would go with Groot just on the basis that he has survived pretty much being completely, like, destroyed. And while a lot of that has been from uh, like, the ideal circumstance of him being able to regrow himself, um the key difference between what I brought up earlier, King Shark might be stronger, Groot has a better healing factor. Neither of these characters would have an understanding of each other's exact abilities. So King Shark wouldn't know exactly to what extent he has to destroy Groot to kill him. Whereas I feel like Groot would probably just know he's a shark. Kill him like you would kill a shark. He's a shark dude. Kill him how you would kill a shark or a dude. Um, and oh yeah, another thing I meant to bring up, which is going to be the kind of connection of this fight. So both of these characters are technically royals, right? Groot is actually from a. Well, he's not. I don't think he's a royal. I think he's just like a high. He's like a. He's from like a respected family or something on his home planet, and King Shark's, like I said, a demigod. Um, but like these characters seem kind of stupid and brutish, but they're actually relatively intelligent. King Shark is just kind of subject to his animal instincts a lot of the time, against his own will, and Groot is, like, he just says I am Groot, but he's actually, his language actually, like, every time he says I am Groot, he's actually saying any number of things, and there are just incredibly subtle, hyper specific nuances to everything he says that is nearly impossible to distinguish unless you're hearing him, unless you've been around him a long time. So, yeah, that's kind of how. But, and yeah, while Superboy or King Shark has tackled a lot of, like, DC, powerhouses, he's never really, like, beaten any of them. And the same could be probably said for Groot, but Groot has fought, like, I'm pretty sure Groot, like, survived Thanos or something at some point, which just puts him really high up against a lot of other um of King Shark's enemies. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Groot on this one. Like I said, on the basis that um, King Shark wouldn't know how to kill Groot exactly, because it's a little less self-explanatory than vice versa. But anyway, sorry, this is pretty impromptu, pretty low quality episode. All my episodes are low quality, but anyway, Verbal Ninja 95.